Succès, you pronounce it how you want. Masra's story reads like a parody of justice. A young leader daring to organize and speak against Mohammed Idris Deby's transitional regime now sits in prison with a 20-year sentence. His crime? Inciting violence, undermining the state, and daring to gather people who believe Chad deserves a future beyond military dynasties. His supporters, including minors, have been swept into detention. And because irony is apparently the national language, Masra is on hunger strike, starving his body to highlight the famine of justice consuming his country. Chad is not new to authoritarian rule. Deby inherited the throne of power after his father's death, proving that in Chad, democracy is not about votes, but about genetics. The regime wraps itself in the excuse of national security, pointing to ethnic tensions and rebel threats as justification for its iron fist. But the truth is simpler. Chaos is useful. As long as Chad looks unstable, the regime can pose as the necessary guardian. Masra, with his articulate voice and broad appeal, punctured that narrative. That made him dangerous. His conviction on August 9 was a masterclass in judicial choreography. Trials in Chad are not about evidence or fairness. They are about morality plays staged to send a message. The message this time was loud: organize against the regime and you will be branded an enemy of the state. International observers can shout all they want. Inside Chad, the only voice that matters is Deby's, and it echoes through the courts, prisons, and barracks. The persecution of Masra is also ethnic in flavor. By framing his mobilization as a threat to communal harmony, the regime taps into Chad's deep-seated fractures. Divide and rule is the oldest playbook in politics, and Deby has studied it well. Opposition is not just political, it is portrayed as tribal, destabilizing, dangerous to the nation's fragile balance. Thus, imprisoning Masra is not tyranny, it is protection. But the absurdity of it all is undeniable. Here is a man whose weapon is his voice, treated as though he were an armed insurgent. His hunger strike is a stark mirror. A leader slowly starving while the government feasts on power. His supporters, some still in their teens, languish in cells for the crime of believing in him. This is not justice. It is hostage-taking, masquerading as law. International condemnation has followed, as expected. Human rights organizations call for his release. The United Nations expresses concern, as they be doing. But Chad, like Mali and Uganda, has mastered the art of shrugging off global outrage. After all, Western powers rely on Chad as a counter-terrorism ally in the Sahel. As long as Deby plays his role as the region's security subcontractor, his domestic repression is tolerated. Masra can rot in prison, and the world will keep shaking Deby's hand. For Chadians, Masra's imprisonment is devastating. He represented a rare spark of hope in a system designed to extinguish it. His youth, his eloquence, his ability to rally people across divides, these made him dangerous precisely because they made him credible. The regime thrives on hopelessness. Masra thrived on possibility. The collision was inevitable. And yet, even from his cell, Masra still speaks. His hunger strike is communication in its rawest form. If you will not hear my words, hear my silence. Here is my wasting body. It is both protest and prophecy, a reminder that repression cannot erase the longing for change. The real tragedy is not just Masra's imprisonment, but what it reveals about Chad's political DNA. The country has never known peaceful transfer of power. Leaders are either killed, overthrown, or inherit the throne. Elections are window dressing. The people's will is decorative. By sentencing Masra, Deby is not just punishing an opponent, he is punishing the idea that Chad could be different.